Hi, guys. Now, a quick update on day 3 of Cassie's testimony. It's day 2 for her for testifying, day 3 of the trial. And we knew that throughout the duration of her testimony that it was going to be jam-packed with oohs and ahs and just shocking, unbelievable information. And of course, nothing short of that today as well. She revealed some really shocking, horrifying, horrific things, just as she did yesterday. Now, some of the stuff that's going on between the prosecution and the defense. One, Diddy's attorneys, they are just shooting from the hip. It seems as though they keep coming out with different requests for Cassie and her attorneys, or, asking for Cassie's husband to be removed from the courtroom. That was yesterday. Today, they're requesting that Cassie do not confer with her attorney at all during her testimony. I'm being told, and also hearing throughout commentary out here on the YouTube, as well as national news publications, that is quite normal for people that are testifying to not necessarily confer with their attorneys while they're testifying, unless they feel like some line of questioning is going to incriminate them in some way or in some form. So, they might ask for a break and be able to confer with their attorney. However, it's not common that someone that's testifying, especially for the state, that they continuously consult with their attorney throughout their testimony. So the fact that they're requesting for Cassie not to be able to confer with her attorney, I'm hearing it's not necessarily, outlandish, and that they're pretty much on point with that, because it kind of doesn't happen. And a lot of attorneys are saying at this point, in this stage in the game, they're not even really understanding why she would need to actually confer with her attorneys at this point. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. But, like it's being said, maybe she feels though, some line of questioning that she's already been asked or going to be asked can incriminate her in some way. Who knows? But if I'm not mistaken, I think the judge shut it down, in that she could continue to confer with her attorney if she requested. Now, moving on, she revealed more about the freak-offs. We already talked about in a previous video that I did today that Diddy actually continued to harbor or save, if you will, videos of Cassie's during these freak-offs, where she thought that these videos had been deleted or discarded. And one day on a plane, coming back from somewhere, headed back to New York, mind you, it was a whole fiasco around that. But anyway, they ended up on a plane, headed back to New York. And he wanted her to do a freak off. She did not want to, do one. She was not up to it. She revealed that that her body would just go through it after these things, because, mind you, keep in mind, the freak offs can sometimes last 2 and 3 days, sometimes 4, of off and on continuous, sex during these things, and oral sex, and all kinds of different things that's going on. So her body would take a toll from this, obviously. And of course, with all the shrug use and all the alcohol consumption, she would just be wiped out. Now, we'll later on, I guess, hear about him, providing her with IV hydration and all these things to try to rehydrate her and get her back on point. But Cassie revealed that she would acquire all kinds of oral sores on her mouth, on her tongue, inside of her mouth and her jaws, because of the fellatio, I guess, that would take place. And so her mouth would be sore, stinging, things of that nature, as well as she had been developing really, really painful UTIs, urinary tract infections. That would be painful, obviously, during urination, and definitely painful anytime you would try to have sex. So, yeah, he being Diddy would still want and demand her to go through with these freak offs despite of. That is sick. That is extremely sick, because not only the fact that she's not necessarily enjoying them in the first place, and maybe during these things she would, because of the controlled substances that she would take to just get through, but the fact that it would even at this point be painful because of the sores and the soreness, the UTI, the burning, the stinging, it is just out. I mean, I'm outdone. I'm almost at a loss of words. We've all had a stinging or a burning in our mouth from maybe a cut or us biting our tongue. That's painful. That is so painful. And to be in that kind of pain or discomfort and still having physical relations, oh my God, I cannot even imagine that feeling of that happening down there with the stinging and the burning, and still trying to go through with sex. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. Oh my God. Now, I had not clenched my pearls and just cinched myself so far during this trial, but just to hear that, it's like I'm tightening up, because just the thought of that happening, period, but especially while you're in pain, like any type of burning, stinging. Oh my God, any type of open wounds or open sore. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is just too much. I'm totally outdone. Diddy is a monster. He definitely needs to do time for sure for domestic violence. However, industry experts in law are saying that he is being portrayed as a monster. However, they're not necessarily seeing this criminal organization type thing panned out yet. So far the testimony hasn't secured that. And, again, they're seeing that he's a lot of things, but running a criminal organization is not one of them, and nor are they seeing the whole trafficking thing. So, we'll see. I'm hearing that the prosecution is a little stronger today. Yesterday they were a little weaker. So Okay, that's it for now. That was just a little update. I thought that was wild what we heard about the sores and the UTIs. Lord, help that girl. Drop down in the comments. I do talk back. Like the video, subscribe, and until next time, bye.